This is Alec Kinsky here with the season ticket on the short circuit. We're here with Micawber Etienne of the PSA Cardinals. Macabre, thanks for joining us today.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Hey, so to the public that isn't aware of Macabre, he's a recruit in the 2021 graduating class. So really one of the ones most heavily affected by especially recruiting in this with this whole COVID experience. So. No EYBL up to date up to this point. You run with the PSA Cardinals. This would have been your first time on 17U. I will ask you, Macabre, how are you spending your time in quarantine? How are you, what's a typical day look like?
So mainly, so I go to boarding school, and it's 2.5 hours away from my house. So I've been spending a lot of time catching up with my family and just spending like time with my family that I wouldn't have gotten to if it wasn't for this. And they took down all the hoops, all the gyms are closed and all that type of stuff. So it's really hard to start like playing basketball again. But I'm definitely making sure I can stay in shape and always stay prepared for the season, because you never know when they're gonna say there's a tournament going on. And then so once they announce that, I know we're going to have practice right away, and I need to be ready from day one, because that's how I'm going to affect the game.
Two follow-ups to that question. What are you doing specifically to, maintain game readiness?
So I run miles. I run 2 miles every day, and I do stairs at my high school. And then so I do a lot of stairs work because it really helps with your cardiovascular system. And then so I've been doing that a lot. But besides that, I have a weighted vest, so I do a lot of push-ups with that, and I do air squats, and I do planks with that, and then that's really all. Oh, and then what's it called? I have a basketball, so I just go in the street, and I do a lot of ball handling drills and things of that sort, and then so that's what I've really been doing just to keep up with the basketball side during this quarantine.
But that answer is definitely going to make Munch happy, because I know as soon as they're ready to go, he's going to throw you right into the fire. So
yeah, definitely. I can't wait for that.
Glad to hear you're staying prepared. How's the time with the family been? You know, it's you got to look at the upside of that as well.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that's one of the. I feel like you should really take a positive out of this, and that positive for me is going to be spending this time with my family, because I know once this thing clears up again, I'm going to be on the road a lot for basketball, and then right after that, I'm right back at school 2.5 hours away from my house. And then so I'm really enjoying a lot of time I get to spend with my mom and my father, and I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, man, I can attest to that. I got he's almost 2 right now, so the last 2 months or so, it's been nice to stay at home and watch him grow. Moments I probably wouldn't have seen because of grassroots. So yeah, you got to take some positives out of it as well. You mentioned you're 2.5 hours away. How's life at Suffield Academy?
Suffield is great. So I got there my sophomore year, and since I've been there, I've really matured more as a person and a player. I feel like I've become a lot more independent, and I have a lot more structure for myself. It's really benefiting me, because it's almost like a college campus, but it's a high school, and that's really going to get me prepared for college when I get there. And then the work is very academically challenging, so it's definitely going to prepare me for when I get to college. But besides that, we have a great group of kids every year who really just wants to get better, and we have a great coach in Coach Favor, and he makes sure he pushes us every day so we can really get to our best. And then so I love it there.
Absolutely. A great reputation for the program as well. PSA also has a great reputation. Talk about playing for that program, playing for Munch, the camaraderie of the team, and really just the overall environment of the PSA Cardinals.
So PSA is really like a family, more than a team. I used to, if I was having troubles at home, I could stay at one of my coach's house. Before AAU, I would stay there for a whole week, and then they would ask no questions. They would welcome me with open arms, and I've been playing with them since 8th grade. And then so ever since then, you can really just see how much of genuine people they really are, and that's something I really like about them, because a lot of people in these day and age, they're really kind of fake, and they like to sugarcoat stuff, and they don't keep it real. and I feel like PSA really keeps it real. So playing with the amazing coach I started with one of my first coaches was Greg, then Mark, and then eventually moving up to playing with Munch. And those are three great coaches right there who really know what they're doing. And I feel like they're really why I'm at the point I am today is because of them, because they really have instilled that if I want to get somewhere in life, I have to work hard for it. And one of the like the famous quotes that they really say a lot is, "You really own your own destiny." And I feel like that's very true, because just like if you don't put in the work, you're not going to get to where you want to go. So you really got to control what you can control.
Yeah, it's a culmination of a bunch of decisions and a bunch of choices. So yeah,
On and off the court, yeah, definitely.
Munch has lived by that. So I mean, is that something you look for? My next question kind of leads right into, is that something you look for in, at the next level for a college that recruiting you, kind of the no BS, like.
Yeah, definitely. Like I feel like if I go into a college and they're recruiting me for one thing, and then when I get there, it's a whole different other thing. I feel like that's just it was a waste of my time. It was a waste of your time, and I feel like it's really unnecessary to do that. I'm a very blunt person. If anybody if somebody's asking me a question, I'm gonna tell them straight up. So I expect the same back, and I just feel like that's just mutual respect at that point. And so that's definitely what I'm looking for in a college, along with many other things.
Of course, of course. What do you like to do? What do you like to do off the court? What catches your attention other than basketball?
Off the court, I like playing 2K a lot. What's it called? I play with a lot of my friends. So I be cooking them all the time. What's it called? I love to cook. So cooking is something I really like to do. And when I'm at school, I mean, not when I'm at school, when I'm at home, I usually meal prep. And then so I'll just make like a large batch of rice and chicken, and then like some vegetables or something like that. Now I get a whole bunch of plastic containers and just set it out for the week. And so I feel like it's really beneficial for me, because it just saves time in cooking, and it's just very fast. And I'm a guy that likes to just go, and I'm not a guy just like to sit down. So it's very beneficial to me. And I also like swimming. Swimming's always been fun to me.
Yeah, with the cooking, you'll save money on dates, and you'll impress her by cooking. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's a good skill to have.
definitely.
It's a good skill to keep in your back pocket. So.
Yeah, every girl likes a guy who can cook.
Exactly. So, final question here. You're going to be moving into your senior year. When are you looking to make a decision for your school? And I guess what are your expectations for your senior year?
So decision-wise, I'm not rushing anything. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna commit before the season, after the season, or something like that. I'm really just gonna commit when I really find the right place and the right fit. And once I know that, then I'm just gonna make my choice, whether it be tomorrow or whether it be the last day I can. Once I know, I'm gonna make my choice. And what was the second part of your question?
I was just asking expectations for senior season, and what would make it a success, and I guess what do you want to improve on before you step on a college campus?
So what's called my expectation for my senior season is just to really show that I'm one of the top players in the country, and just really show I really make my teammates better. So displaying my passing abilities is something I'm really going to focus on, and also my shot, which is something I'm also working on right now, which is just really going to develop to the next level in college. And then so for college, I really just mainly just make sure I'm in shape, because high school basketball and college basketball are two different things. You run way more in college, so I have to make sure my body is right physically, and mentally also. I have to make sure I'm always pushing myself, and I'm not taking no shortcuts or nothing like that. And then so that's really what what's called I'm gonna improve until I step on the college campus.
All right, and it popped in my head as you're answering that question. I got to ask about the Jordan documentary. Did you watch it, and what'd you think, and what'd you come away with thinking? And what'd you go beforehand? What were you thinking as far as the greatest of all time? What do you think afterwards?
So beforehand, I always thought it was Michael Jordan, but like I never really saw any. I didn't grow up in that era,
Right.
so
There was no supporting evidence put
yeah,
together.
there was no supporting evidence. Like I've seen a lot of highlight tapes, and then a lot of things like that, stories and stuff like that. But that doesn't complete the full picture for me. But after watching The Last Dance, yeah, I can really say that he's the greatest of all time. He was really he had that killer mentality, and it wasn't even about his physical attributes. It was mainly about just his skill and his mental toughness. I feel like that was a different type of era back then, and I love it though. I love
Oh
it.
man,
I wish basketball back
that's
then
how
was
I got introduced. That's how I got introduced into basketball, was the late, like, or mid to late 90s, like that type of, like, when I see the scores 84 to 82, like, I'm like, I wish basketball was still like that, because
yeah, yeah. What's it
it's a
called?
different
I
game.
feel like that's way better basketball back then. Just the physicality and how much they actually let you play, and just I don't know. I just feel like the toughness. The toughness was really there back then, and I love that. And I feel like it's really different from the game in this day and age.
For sure. One bucket that actually stuck out to me is right before Jordan hit that shot over Russell, his
Yeah.
last shot. The drive he had. I mean, Russell rakes down as hard as you can on his hands, hits his arms, no call. He's the greatest player of all time driving in the final seconds. I'm like, that epitomizes, kind of.
Yeah, it's really crazy. It's really crazy. I feel like a lot of people in this day and age really could have survived back then.
Right.
They really couldn't. And then, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm glad. I think it did. It was a great watch, obviously, for people who lived through it. For me, reliving it again and appreciating it more, and then educating guys like you. So that that's it's great to
Nah,
hear.
I definitely enjoyed that. I heard they're gonna do one about. I think LeBron is gonna have a documentary or something like that coming out in the next couple of years or something like that. So
I think they should keep going on them, but that set a high bar. So
yeah, no, that was up there. That was up there. That bar was high.
The Rodman stuff is just, imagine that now.
Oh,
And that it's just, looking back on it,
you could, like, a lot of people call that like unprofessional and stuff like that, but that really just was how he was. He needed
really
those breaks and stuff like that, and he still performed at a high level every single night. It wasn't because of his physical gifts and stuff like that. It was just how he studied the game, how hard he played, and what type of player he really was.
Yeah. And that connection he had with Phil. Phil knew he could, Phil knew his rope. So yeah, I mean, that stuff's cool. It's just the cohesiveness of a team. Like I hope we get back to that point. So
definitely, and like Scottie Pippen's journey from equipment manager to two growth spurts, and then what was he, like 6'9", something like that, 6'7"?
Yeah, he was solid 6'7", 6'8". Like he kind of invented point forward. So that it was cool. It's cool to watch, man. It was I'm probably gonna be rewatching it again soon.
Yeah, I'm going to too.
So, man, I appreciate the time. I'm sure we'll catch up again soon. Until then, take care.
Of course. Thank you for having me.